Welcome to TCT. Joe.
Anyaugo. And Mohammed, Lawan.
Welcome to another episode again of TCT. And today we're going to be talking about, maybe 4 segments. I guess we're talking about 4 segments. Chadwick Boseman being one of them. Kanye as well. What are the other ones again?
So we got obviously in the news, Tyler Perry, been officially made
the nigga with the dresses.
And there's a risky segment at the end where we'll just get into like relationship dynamics.
I'm dead.
So yeah, we'll save that one for last. But let's kick off.
With the Chadwick Boseman one.
Yeah. So I was just thinking, like, just processing obviously the news of Chadwick Boseman's death, R.I.P. And
my R.I.P.
Rest in peace. For me, it was just kind of like, okay, so I first knew about Chadwick Boseman from Black Panther. I didn't know about him from before that. So obviously, it was a bit sad when he died, as is most cases when someone dies. However, when I saw the reaction that a lot of people had online, especially Americans, towards his death, I felt that he was very impactful in their lives growing up, finding out the kind of roles he played, where he was significant black icons in those movies, was quite impactful for their experiences. And so for me, it reminded me of how I felt when Kobe died, because I don't know Kobe, but like,
you felt his impact?
Yeah, I felt his impact. Like the way the guy moved, the way he thought, just resonated with me. So that kind of, and for me, when I was processing Kobe's death, it was a bit. Obviously, I'm not that kind of person that go on talking about my shit. But it actually got me for like a week or so. This is weird. Like, it's not like I know the person. It's not my dad. It's not my brother. It's not my anything. So it's just, I never felt that way about someone I didn't know passing. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like they had that experience with Chadwick Boseman. So I was just kind of thinking, like, how do you process the death of someone so impactful in your life, but it's not really someone that you know. It's not someone that you see every day. It's not someone, like, it's not like I could help. You get what I'm saying? It's not like I could have affected him in any way, but now he's just taking for me. Yeah. So how do you like process all that?
I think one of the most important things is, if somebody has an impact in your life, the best way to honor that person is just pretty much continue with that good thing you really resonate with in terms of impact. Say, for example, like Kobe, for example, you already know he's working hard, that will make Kobe's name live long. So I think if you add that to your routine, it actually helps you, and in a way, pretty much makes that person's like spirit be alive forever and ever. But the thing is, like, I think processing that kind of trauma as well, though, I feel like you shouldn't get just, I don't think you should just see it as just somebody that you don't know as well. It's good to talk about it as well, too. Because, like, a loss is always a loss, but in a different way. Do you get what I'm saying? Just depends on, like, don't try and never suppress your emotions when it comes to that kind of stuff. If something's had an impact in your life and you feel like you've lost it, I feel like it's always good to talk about it. Because even with the Kobe thing as well, so some it got to a point where I felt like some people don't want to express their emotion because they will feel like they're just going with the norm and they're doing it for clout.
Yeah. And I feel like there are niggas that are doing it for clout, which is tacky as fuck.
But then again, then what about those that aren't doing it for clout?
Yeah, but as in, how do you separate those? Because there are some people that don't even know who Kobe was. They're like, oh my god.
No, but I feel like everyone knew who Kobe was. Right?
Okay, maybe.
Like Kobe, everyone knew Kobe.
But there's no need to separate the people that are doing it for clout and those that are doing it genuinely. That you stand to gain nothing from that separation.
Exactly.
So you just, if you feel like there's that impact that they had on you, you have to just find like-minded individuals to process it with. Like with any, like you were talking about dealing with the grief aspect, and when you tend to mourn, like it's in a group. You see individuals that resonate with the individuals, whether it's family members, cousins. You come together, and it's the same principle. If you looked at LA for the whole week after Kobe died, that was like a mass mourning session. Everybody was grieving. The whole city was grieving.
That was crazy.
So I hear you about that idea of even if it's someone that you don't know personally, like the impact he's had on your life,
you should always
share with other people, so you
Facts.
should gravitate towards those individuals and try and process it that way.
Exactly.
But you mentioned something also a lot earlier about like individuals like Kobe Bryant, where it's like there's such a mainstay that the idea of them passing or not being present is almost like unfathomable.
Yeah.
And you see Kobe Bryant had that impact, Michael Jackson had the same, Nelson Mandela had the same.
Prince.
You know? But then it just goes to show like there's a fundamental like principle about how they conducted themselves that resonated across the globe, you know, for them to have that level of impact.
And that's the goal, isn't it?
It really is. It really is.
Fact, man. I don't know, but like, how can you reach like God status as well? But the thing is, like, do you feel like Kobe, for example, was immortalized when he was alive, just the way he is right now that he's dead?
He was immortalized.
Yeah, cause like, okay, when Kobe finished retiring, we just knew Kobe was there. Do you get what I'm saying?
So like, I was still aware of what he was doing afterwards, because like it was.
But wasn't special because he wasn't playing basketball anymore. I mean, first,
are you talking about like a Mandela level, where like even in his life he was like a living legend?
Yeah, like I felt like when Kobe was alive, like the hype was there, but it wasn't as big as it was like when he died.
Again, it's that idea of impact, right? And like the fact that if you go to the streets of LA, I bet you would speak to somebody that would hold Kobe the same way you would hold like a Mandela or somebody like that, because of that level of impact that they directly had on them. He got that God level status, but it's the sphere of influence and how far that really goes, you know.
So like
definitely the individuals, like what's his name? I can't remember, but there's a player that plays for the LA Lakers who was out in the streets literally crying, literally, because he was an LA born and bred, and I hope one of you guys can get the name for me. It looks like J. Cole. The guy that looks like J. Cole.
It's Cook.
I think so.
He plays, yeah. I know.
This guy literally grew up with this guy, like Kobe as that, like God figure, like everything he aspired to be. So definitely there are people that are out there that are like that.
I don't know. Just personally, I just feel like he should have been celebrated a bit more even when he was alive. Because I feel like when he died.
To me, that's the thing. Like it's. I mean, obviously, it's the age-old discussion of a prophet, or like people not being accepted either in their hometown or in their own time. Like when you see people like that, when you see transcendent people, like why do we need to wait for them to die to give them their flowers and why can't we give it to them when they are here? Like, you know, like this someone like Kobe, someone like Chadwick Boseman, all these people are impacting your life. Why are we not celebrating that achievement of them?
I think we like, it's probably like a pity mindset from like human beings in general, right? We like that idea of we enjoy the aspect of comfort that we don't really understand how to really express like gratitude enough. Do you get what I'm saying? Like like when we're expressing gratitude, we always have most times anyway, most cases, it always has to come from tragedy when they're giving these glorious eulogies. Oh, he was amazing, he was that. But when we're around, there's almost that like, nah, you already know the love, man. Like, why am I telling you that?
You take it for granted.
Yeah, it's like, why am I telling you that? Like, you already know.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think it's kind of a shit mindset, man. But like, I think after Kobe, I think it kind of changed, because Michael Jordan now, like,
do you think so?
I feel like he's getting more love, man, than he used to get before.
I think that mindset is cyclical, in that we've had a lot of great people that have passed, you know, and then this is the same thing that comes up. The whole idea of appreciate people. And the cycle repeats itself. But at the same time, like, it's that same idea of stopping and taking stock of one's achievements, because that's really what happens when you pass. Because now it's the end point. Now you have a beginning and end, and that whole lifespan, you can culminate all the achievements, and it's like, wow, it's phenomenal. But while you're alive, you're still in that process of gaining. And like, there's no really time for anyone, yourself, or anyone like outside of you, to take stock of that. And the only time that somebody like a Kobe would get that with, let's say, a jersey retirement or a Hall of Fame, you know, acceptance and all that, which is something, you know, and it's good that, like, that's an aspect for sure. But is it also, like, too much to ask? I know this sounds, like, so negative, but it's also too much to ask people to stop and actually take stock and appreciate everyone to this same degree. I agree. Think about how much we celebrated Kobe, the next month after he was gone. It was like on a level that it's like, it takes up every other aspect of your life.
Facts.
So is it even healthy or feasible to stop and celebrate to that level all the time?
Facts.
We can't really do that.
Facts.
At least if you ask me.
And to be honest, like somebody like Kobe, like apart from the tragic way in which he died, I feel like if we had celebrated him enough, that he should have been celebrated, that we should have celebrated him. Him dying shouldn't have like made us feel sad. We should have been proud that shit, I experienced Kobe in my lifestyle. Like that's how you should feel like. But like I think this idea of like, pity and all that kind of shit. So instead of as you said, instead of taking time to like, appreciate yourself, is when you die that you just bombard you with all this workload that this person has done. And it just I feel like it just creates like a very overwhelming feeling in a way. And the idea of death, man, I feel like there should be more celebration for great people like that than so.
I think we should have like a World Appreciation Day. Like just one day you appreciate.
I think that's brilliant.
In your life. Like,
because to do that every day is tedious, but to actually stop and take that's brilliant.
Just go message,
and just be
go flood people's comments. People that even if you've never met them, people that wow, this person is actually impacting my life, he's changed my life, he's giving me experience, giving me perspective. Just show love, like let them say it now rather than when they can't say it when they're dead. Like let them know how much they appreciate it right now, innit?
And that can help with a lot of trauma as well. Yeah. Because sometimes it's like you're not really expressing yourself, you're not expressing like yourself to an individual. So for example now, you have this very close friend. You all know it's all love, but you've never really expressed that, tell him that, yo, bro, I appreciate you, you've made me do this, you made me do this. And then he dies now. The impact of him just like you just processing that in an instant can be so, you can process that in so many ways that will fuck you up. As opposed to like, if you're showing that if you're showing him all that love and then now he dies, like as opposed to like, just processing it, you cannot appreciate like spending time with that guy. And you see it more from like a positive. Dying is never positive, but like at least rather than dealing with that trauma, like you appreciate that person's existence more. And I just think like it's just the issue of, man, like stop the pretense culture in it. If somebody is making you feel something, man, say it. Like at the end of the day, you have one. You have 1 year, man. Like we only have one life. Just say it, man. But good segue. So now talking about death, now I talk about billionaire, I talk about money. Tyler Perry becoming a billionaire.
Man, I think
that's a big win.
That's a huge win. Like to think about his story, because obviously, won't lie, I've seen a couple of Tyler Perry movies, and the quality is not great, but like there were. To me, I just tell them as those movies, like
they are what they are. They
are what they are. Like it was like I said like a short story, just a quick story, and then obviously you don't want to see all the time because like, come on, you want
that might be intentional though. That might be his business model.
No, it was. I feel like so knowing his background or knowing what I know of his background. Apparently he was homeless at some point and
writing scripts in his car.
And the only way for him to kickstart his career was to do one of the most anti theatrical things of a big black man, which is to put on a dress and play a woman. You get what I'm saying? Because I know he got a lot of stick for doing that, because like that's the opposite of remember when we were talking about how part of the way of destabilizing the community was buck breaking.
Yeah.
The white people try to emasculate the strongest man amongst us. So obviously that defensive mechanism for a lot of black men is to show how masculine we are. So for this man to realize, you know what, like my vision, my goal, my dream is bigger than this ego, this pride, to be like, yo, I'm willing to do this in order to get me where I'm going to go. And then to see it actually come full circle, and then now he owns his own studio, he's officially a billionaire. So this is incredible. Like it's a good story to tell. It's a good example for a lot of young people who like sometimes you have to go do the McDonald's job. Sometimes you have to go like
get in the trenches.
I think it instills like the lesson of discipline as well. Like just having that like really focus. Because as a black man, you're wearing dresses, you're hearing your name left, right, and center. It's very easy for you to like, guy, this attention, fuck it, man, it's not worth it. But that the mind, he had that vision and he just kept on going. But the thing is like, my thing with Tyler Perry again is slight controversy. Actually, those people with like wealthy African Americans anyway, is that like they don't collaborate enough, man. I don't understand why Tyler Perry is never collaborated with Eddie Murphy. And they have like big corporations. I've never seen a collab like that. Imagine how sick that would be. Imagine how sick that would be. See something like, for example, like what Disney and like Marvel, for example.
Yeah.
Like it's very like it doesn't sound alien. To be honest, if today I see like a Marvel and a DC movie together, I won't be surprised. Because like I don't know, like the way white people like conduct themselves, like they understand money. They don't put anything else like before anything else. They
The
understand
term merger doesn't
yeah,
exist in the
like
black community
exactly.
like that. Yeah.
They understand money, and us, we want we value more reputation than the amount of money we can make. And it's not really valid because like okay, with all the reputation you have, it's still singular.
Exactly.
I need more people up there. You know what I'm saying?
It's like it's your value as that individual success versus collective gain.
Yeah.
If we chime back to like the rise though, if I could just give my 2 cents, like one thing I'll give Tyler Perry is that he and his up and his rise is bigger than that character of Medea, because before he could even get to that point, we're talking about it, writing scripts in your car, you know, flipping cars. He used to flip cars so that he can rent like theater space and put his productions out there. So like it's part and parcel. It's a major part of like his come up rather, that Medea character. But prior to that, like the moves that this guy was making and that idea of having your purpose and like a clear definition of where it is that you want to go, and really tunnel visioning and really not letting anything stop you from getting there, which it got to the crossroads where he felt it's either I put on this dress to get to this next level or not, you know, and he made that call. But also in that idea, one thing that I do appreciate about him, even if he doesn't necessarily collab on that level, is the fact that he always, and I think he will always continue to appeal to his base. He knows, and everything that comes out of him is for the black community.
Drug afflicted.
Be it, you know, as Spike Lee like called him like ultimate coon and all this. You know, even Spike Lee, they're not on the same page. But at the same time, like the idea that I don't know, I was reading an come up story, and he's like his comedy career really started with making his mother laugh in the living room.
Wow.
And he was very clear on the idea that these sort of individuals were like his target market, the church-going, elderly woman, whatever. And these films appeal to them so heavily. And it's like everything I produce out of Tyler Perry Studios is going to appeal to these masses. It's going to appeal to the black community. And he doesn't care what Hollywood has to say. Hollywood has tried so hard to put this man down. And he's kept his head down and he stayed in his lane. He's seen a market for things that have been disregarded for so long, and he has exploited it, and he's come up on the other side, you know. And I respect that. I really respect
facts. But even the earlier point I was making about collaboration, it's not really a critic on Tyler Perry necessarily. But it's like on the wealthy people, like in America, like those people, like billionaires that might potentially have influence, right? I feel like merging together or doing stuff more gives other people like, or other aspiring like young youths, like, you know, hope of like, you know what, we're going to build a community. Because like right now it's very individualistic, if you get what I mean. Okay, there's maybe the music industry is a bit emerging, like Jay-Z and Diddy, they're all cool friends, everybody knows. But entertainment industry, like film, for example, Hollywood, you have Spike Lee doing his own shit, you have Eddie Murphy doing his own shit, you have Tyler Perry doing his own stuff. They're all going to be successful, but I feel like there's like a bigger impact. They can make bigger impact if they all come. They don't necessarily have to come together all the time, but they need to have like some sort of like collaboration, like initiative.
Can I then ask you guys what you feel is holding that collaboration back?
I think it's more. I'm trying to say ego, but then again, it might be an intentional design by Hollywood as well. Because I'm just a conspiracy theorist. Like
because these men that we're talking about, to some degree, they have a level of autonomy in how they choose to conduct themselves. Like they don't necessarily have to answer to anybody. But to some extent they do, but to a large extent they don't. You know, so these are people that have the power of independent choice, which a lot of black entertainers, or I don't know, people of like in that circle really don't have. So like, what is it that would possibly hold them back? Is my question. I have no idea. I'm asking.
I think they feel like they're walking on eggshells. You know, like they don't want to be. Like they feel like they're doing everything right. That's why they're there, and they don't want to really like go out of their own comfort zone to create something bigger, because potentially they might fuck up the money. Like Stephen A. Smith would say, might potentially fuck up the money.
Stay out the weed.
Stay out the weed.
I say it might potentially fuck up their money. So like I think it's coming from more of a safety point of view, in my opinion. I feel like they're just trying to just do what's making them successful, and they're not trying to do anything that will be perceived extra. Do you get what I'm saying?
Let me think of one black entertainer that, at the prime of his career, chose the plight of his people over his individual gain. That's Muhammad Ali. Be it going to fight the war, he says I'm gonna go fight for a country that doesn't like have his respect when he comes back.
Yeah.
Served time for it, couldn't fight, lost a lot of money, press turned on him, all that. And history's really absorbed Muhammad Ali to be this person that we see him to be right now. Because at the time there was a period during his heyday that he wasn't the guy. Exactly. And I look at a move like that, which is so brave, but it's also so isolated. And I think the precedent that's set by in situations like that is what kind of may be discouraging for other people to step out of that mold. Because you can see what happened to you in that case. The only opposite to that I can see in today's day and age is like a LeBron, for instance, who's very vocal about this stuff. But then again, he does have quite a bit of clout, wealth and influence on himself to be able to do that. But he's the only walking example that I know.
Even LeBron, though, he's controlled to a certain degree. I don't think LeBron can lead a protest and say, yo, like, we're not, NBA players are not going to play boom, boom, boom. Like, let's go.
That's
he can shout and say he's done it, but he can't.
For LeBron, not because, I would say for LeBron, just speaking for LeBron, not necessarily prominent black people. But for me, I would say for LeBron, the reason why he can't protest the NBA because he is the NBA.
He is the NBA.
He makes money off the NBA. Like him protesting the NBA is him protesting himself. He's fucking up his own money. You get what I'm saying? Like he needs the NBA to keep being.
But sometimes causes are bigger than I mean, when it gets to that point.
But what did James say, right? I'm gonna climb out the barrel and then help other people. Like if I'm broke, how am I gonna help all these people?
No, but the thing is like. See, someone like you mentioned, like Muhammad Ali, when he was going through all that kind of shit, like, I mean, he knew where he was going to go into, but he didn't care. Like, he had that focus of, no, this is bigger than me, this is bigger than me. So it goes to show you that like, it's either those people who are prominent are selfish to a degree and don't necessarily give a fuck the way we think they do, or there might just be like some sort of design that's just like, they don't want to ever promote that culture of like black collaboration together, because it can be together in like Hollywood. Like Hollywood is still backwards. Like let's not get that twisted. Yeah. It's still sexist. It's still sexist. It's still racist. It's still like they're still living like 1980s in that ends, man. So like I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a deliberate design to like to want to actively like stop like prominent like black people from collaborating out there. Yeah. Because see Kevin Hart as well, for example.
Yeah, that's particular.
No, I'm saying like see Kevin Hart, for example, like he came up all funny, comedy jam and all that, but now he almost kind of like abandoned that. Like he tried to,
I see that.
Yeah, he tried to appeal to the white Hollywood because that's where the money is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean no.
That is where the money is.
But the thing is like with someone like anyways, maybe I'm just adding emotion to it, and it's probably not smart, but I just feel like. I would definitely never ever feel comfortable being okay and knowing that like people of my own kind every day go through some kind of like certain struggle, but then everybody's accepting me because I'm in this particular pay grade and they're treating me there. I will never feel comfortable like that ever.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know.
So for me, I have my own strategy of how to approach a situation or a goal. However, I will not criticize another person's strategy if they're trying to achieve the same goal, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
So, genuinely trying to, not those ones that say they are trying to achieve the goal as a facade, but...
Because that's making money too now. When you say black excellence, that should be money.
That's the definition of coonism, like those guys that will shock and jive just for... They don't really care, but they just do it. But for people like, say, let's say, if I say, okay, for me, the goal is to get black... let's say black issues or black problems to the forefront, and my strategy is to go into the street and protest. Fair enough, that's a genuine strategy to achieve the goal. Someone else is like, I want to get into these rooms, I want to cut a deal with this guy, which I feel would also benefit us in the long run. That to me, I'm not going to criticize that. So I feel like for prominent black people who are obviously put in these positions where they have to, I mean, you don't find in other, obviously because they are not the minority, but like American culture where it's on someone to prove it for their race, like, oh, you need to, you're here, you're representing your whole race.
Yeah, that can be tiring as well.
I mean, nigga, I'm just me. I wasn't born to represent a whole race. However, if people are put into those positions, understanding the context of where they are at right now and where they are coming from, I understand if you have a different strategy that you want to go about. So if you say like someone like LeBron James, I'm the NBA. I want to maybe buy more, like have the opportunity to own a team and hire black people. It doesn't make sense to be possessing the NBA. You get what I'm saying?
You have to be among the
you have to exactly.
No, I hear
so
that.
for those kind of people, I would say okay, fair enough. Going back to the conversation around collaboration, I feel I think more prominent black people should collaborate and obviously pool their resources together. But from an artistic point, Spike Lee doesn't really want to, maybe they have different artistic vision. I wouldn't say they don't have to.
They have every right. They have every right not to work.
Yeah, they have every right. However, you should still again like committed to the goal. If the goal is to put more black people on the screens, put more black stories on the screens, then I want to see both striving for that, which is bringing me into my thing for Tyler Perry, which is what next? Like what? So you told these stories, which, like you said, were targeted to a specific audience, and I don't mind if you want to keep making those movies for that audience. But now you have this platform that you can actually take this thing to the next level. What next? Are you gonna elevate your game? Are you gonna elevate your status? Like, are you gonna is your studio gonna be the studio that begins to produce black movies that are as exciting and as memorable as Marvel movies? You get like when you see a Pixar movie or when you see a Universal movie, we see a movie like,
Disney.
You know what I'm saying?
It's only in its own way.
Like that's what I want to see for me. I want people to see Tyler Perry Studios and be like, yo, this movie is about to slap. You know, so I'm hoping that he takes this to the next level and doesn't just, like I said, you don't have to stop catering for your base, but doesn't just settle for that. Like there are other people that might fuck with your movies if you have to just expand yourself. So,
but the thing is, like, I have a twist on this. As much as I'm giving like constructive criticism on this black thing. Don't you guys feel like we're a bit harsh on like people that are up that made it?
Yeah,
I feel like it's so easy. It's so like, because like, first of all, like they were once like all of us, right? And they just they work hard to be there, and they've not. It might actually be a thing where they might not even fully process like how the fuck
they didn't ask for all of it.
Yeah. And then now they're in a position where like every black person is looking up to them. Like it's almost like
so you didn't set out to be
it's like So it's like, in a way, is there a way we should be? Should we take? Is there a different approach we can take in terms of like encouraging them to accept that, as opposed to like forcing it on them? Because I feel like the way we do it, like we act very entitled. Do you get in a way? I mean, I'm very guilty. I literally just said it like 2 seconds ago. Like we act very entitled to people like them, Spike Lee and all that kind of like Spike Lee and Tyler Perry, for example, because they've all gone through the struggle. Now he's a billionaire. Why am I emphasizing on him to help black people? Do you get what I'm saying? Why does he necessarily have to have that responsibility? Why can't he just enjoy success as a black man while doing other things for us? And I feel like if we emphasize it more, there will be more. There's more empathy from them towards us. Do you get? As opposed to like, because I feel like sometimes as well, like something that might stop them from really trying to help black communities, the entitlement that comes with it.
But think about the people that are giving the criticism. It comes from a place of pain, because a lot of these people that are at this forefront, like most black people that are successful in America, it's a zero to hero story. They barely any of them were born into it. They made it out the mud, and it's that idea of, you were down here in the trenches with me, you know exactly what that was like and what I'm dealing with, and I'm trying to get out. It's not like some of us are not trying to break out of this circle, but thankfully the path you chose has taken you up there. you can empathize to the core of everything I'm going through, but I feel like your moves are not showing that you care and that you've been like that with me. So it's almost personal. You don't have to be from the same like area or neighborhood or inner city, because we've all gone through the same experience. And I'm looking at you and you're up there and it's like, bro, how can you sit so comfortably when you know what life is like for us?
You think that's a good mind? You think that's a justifiable like mindset to have?
It's not justifiable. It's just the reason behind why they are the way they are. It's not that it's right, but I feel like it plays a huge part. But it's difficult. How then can you sit and be patient with somebody? You know, when you're like, okay, you're there now. Let's see what we can do for other people. It's a difficult thing to do, to sit back when you're going through so much. You know.
So, I mean, yeah. So. Okay.
The question they need to ask themselves: would they hold themselves to the same standard as they're holding these individuals?
Fact,
if you're not willing to do that, then you have no right to criticize.
I agree.
And also for like
actually a good point.
For people that are actually trying to get out, not just niggas that are staying at home. It's not niggas, humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Like jump it. I mean that's the definition in it of the actual word.
Definition of a nigga.
That's the definition of a nigga.
But yeah, like for people that are actually trying.
Go ahead.
But so for me, I think prominent black people that do come to such positions of power do have a responsibility. For one,
automatically,
one you touched on it, which is for the fact that this game has been 0 to 100 for the most of us. Like you have for nothing, you have something, and you know what it's like for other people trying to get out. So in a way, it's kind of like it's
as a moral being.
Yeah. It's with power comes responsibility, so you should be looking to help. However, I do agree with you that there needs to be a strategy in order to encourage them to help, because for one, although they do have this responsibility to help, it's not like it's yes, as in it's your responsibility, but you don't have to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I came into this world alone, I'll leave alone. Like, yes, it's my responsibility to help you.
I think the entitlement culture is what
the human. But as in, if I choose to not help you, I can still, like, it's not in my loss to not help you. You get what I mean? So we need to kind of have a strategy where, like you said, it's not demand. It's not like, oh, I'm expecting you to do this for me. But it's more of like they understand that them helping you helps. Like, if they are part of this community, part of this greater cause, it helps the cause in general. So it's not necessarily they are helping you so that you help them back. It's they are helping you so that by helping you, the cause goes stronger. I feel like if we can communicate that message to young leaders, young black people coming to power, when we do arrive at that positions of power, we're able to handle it with more wisdom and more like just like not feel like, okay, I don't.
To encourage willingness.
Willingness.
To encourage willingness. I agree.
You made a solid point a few minutes ago. That's along the lines of this. You mentioned the fact that with you, you're not ever going to criticize anybody's approach towards these things. Everybody has a different strategy, and the reasoning behind that is everybody's experience is different, and everybody's field of expertise is different. So their impact can be in whatever way, shape, or form. I feel that same logic needs to be extended to this same scenario, in that if you're middle income or lower income or in the top 1% as a black person in any of these groups, it's up to you and the members of that group to determine what your strategy is going to be. Because I cannot relate, if I am in an inner city, you know, like slinging, I can't relate to what the 1% is doing. I can't tell him what to do because I have no idea what his existence is like. But the thing about that is, yes, everybody has a right to come up with their own approach that they feel is best for like the cause. However, the problem comes when you feel like there is a lack of effort in coming up with that. And I feel like that's where the disassociation is with that 1% of black people that are up there. They feel like there's no clear vision as to how they're trying to go about it. Whereas, as you see more time, it's the people that are middle to lower class you'd find out here in the streets protesting, because, I don't know, there's more of a unified voice in that sense. And when we do talk about that, and maybe this is me criticizing, I'm not in that 1% of American black men. You know, I mean, I can't empathize that.
I feel you.
But I don't like the approach that I see a lot of times, which tends to be a bit more reactionary, which is a case of when they're criticized, it's like, you don't know what we're doing behind closed doors, and then it's like, what are you doing? And it's a case of, okay, I'm paying for like bail for people to come out, I'm covering lawyer costs and all that, and for me that's all reactionary. It's like people are out here doing this stuff, and like you almost like you come after you're finished like in the big world that you've engaged in, you come to the room with all the other crying black kids and you pat them on the back. It's okay, here's a lollipop, walk out the room and you're at peace. I need you to take charge. I need you to be more present. At least, I mean, as I said, I'm not in that position, so I have no right to tell them what to do. But if they would give me a listening ear, it's like you are one of the few groups that has the power to be proactive. You know, don't just watch what we're doing and then pat us on the back for it. And I feel that's what they tend to do.
I know the thing as well. I think like if they collaborate more, it actually reduces that pressure they have on them, because now we're talking about Tyler Perry not collaborating with Spike Lee and Eddie Murphy and all that kind of stuff. Imagine there are more black people like that. It'd be so tedious, like measure amount of people they can collaborate with. You understand? So like I feel like the more collaboration and the more people you bring up to that space that you are, like reduces the pressure on you, especially if you don't want to be labeled the black savior or all that kind of stuff. I feel like the way you can play a part in how you describe it is bringing more people up there so that it can reduce at least the amount of expectation everybody's expecting from you. So I genuinely think collaboration is key, and at the same time too, as much as collaboration is key, I definitely don't think we should be entitled to demanding change every time. I don't think we should do that. But at the same time too, as you said, I understand.
And that entitlement mentality can be counterproductive, because if you're sitting down wasting all your energy speaking to somebody that is not budging, that little, I don't know, those 24 hours that you spent ranting, you could have applied it elsewhere.
Plus, like it might even like make my heart more stoned. Like I don't want to do
you feel
it anymore.
Even more alone.
Yeah, I don't want to do it. Exactly.
And therefore, you stay in the position.
Exactly. I don't want to do that.
Somebody I respect that did that recently, that stepped out of that comfort zone, is like a Meek Mill when it came to prison reform. This guy was on every news station. He was like very vocal about that. But then it can be also very lonely at the top, because for a 6-month period he was the face of Black America fighting.
I can imagine.
And he had support from the top dogs, of course, here in these background rooms. But exactly. But it does get a bit overwhelming. And no matter how much your best efforts are, if you feel like you're alone, man, it's a tough, like it's an uphill battle. And I feel that's kind of the reason why it's all this petered out.
But do you think someone like a Meek Mill, I don't know Meek Mill, I'm not speaking for Meek Mill, just a general hypothetical question. Do you think he would have done that if he hadn't experienced his
no chance.
misfortune of the criminal justice
system? No chance.
So it's in a way, as in.
But who hasn't?
I mean, a lot of people have, but not everyone. Not most of the people that have experienced to the level of fuckery that he experienced were as fortunate as him. So to me, it's kind of like a no-brainer. Like, of all the people that have been fucked over like this, you're the most fortunate one. You kind of have to speak on it. You get what I'm saying? Like you have to assume this responsibility, because who else is going to speak on like no one else in this prominent position has been clearly fucked over by this criminal justice system so blatantly.
But my point is, why does it have to get to that point? Because on a level, your status quo as a Black American is marginalization. And no matter every 1% as a Black man has gone through or is still going through it, depending on the circle they find themselves in, shouldn't that be a motivating factor enough? Not that you've seen the extreme of it, all of a sudden now you're at the forefront. The fact that you've already been through such a traumatizing experience for anybody that's not been in that circle, like, that should be enough, shouldn't it?
It should, but it doesn't mean as in, like, people are built different, people have different values, principles, goals. So, for again, if you're genuinely say we're going for the same vision, right, and then you want a different strategy, fine, that's fine with me. But if you're not fucking with the goal or fucking with the vision, that's cool as well. Just separate yourself. Like I feel like we need to also adopt this mindset where not all your skin folk are your kin folk. Like, not because someone is Black or they've been through the Black struggle that they are now part of this goal that we're trying to achieve. I'm meet niggas like that, just move. As in, well, not.
You can't waste your energy.
Don't waste your energy on this. Don't waste. I wish.
As you said, man, you can be putting that energy on something more productive.
So just let those niggas go, and then the ones who are saying they want to go, then let's collaborate. Okay, you want to move in this direction? Okay, nice. I'll go in this way. You go in that way. Because like you touched on the point. Yes, some prominent black people do reactive measures, which is like bailing out. Fair enough. Maybe that's just in their person and not really a proactive person like that. But that reactive is still necessary. Like you still need someone who's bailing people out. So it's just to encourage more of us, especially for young leaders, because I mean the old people are already old now. You're not gonna convince a 50-year-old person who is rich now to start changing their approach. But for young prominent black people or aspiring black people, like just to understand that mindset that we need to start filling up those spaces. So if you're not reactive in the negative sense, but if you're the guy that you're not really comfortable in the forefront, you're not really confident speaking on the mic and doing Black Lives Matter, but you know how to walk the back room, you know how to make these white people laugh and give you that money. Hey, go do your thing, and then the people that
I don't like how you say you make people laugh, man.
Get to dancing. Get to entertaining. Right? I mean, you're right.
It's an assault on all fronts.
Yeah. So just let's just stick to the goal at task and get it done. By all means.
But I mean, like, this is even a good segue to like even mental health of people that are at the top, right? So with Kanye right now, I like, in a way, man, I feel like part of me, I want us as black community to do more for him, to like kind of save him, like in a way, because like it's even getting sad now, like seeing Kanye, like knowing Kanye, man, and seeing him right now is just like, to me anyway, I don't know how you guys feel, bro. I just kind of feel sad, man. Like me, I always used to see Kanye as this like genius that was so ahead of his game. But like we,
genius.
I think he's a genius, but like right now, I feel like I don't know, he's using his mental health to make money, and the people around him are not really being truthful, and which is so fucked up. Because it's something now, God forbid, something happens to Kanye today. Again, you hear all the amazing eulogies you hear about Kanye. Oh, Kanye did this, Kanye did that.
Yeah.
I'm like, why can't we like?
It's so funny how when someone dies, everything is positive.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
From the bottom of his heart.
That's what we're
Sneak this.
No, but the thing is like I don't like, it's a game, right? Back to our very previous point of giving people our flowers. I think Kanye is one of those like cultural icons that like, yo, he's done a lot for us, man. He's changed the way we dress. He's changed the way we listen to music. He's changed the way we even look at fashion. Like he's made us see money from like just a creative side of it. Like he's created entrepreneurship from like just like music industry and creativity. And I feel like at the moment, like people he's hanging with, or not even people he's hanging with, because at the end of the day, like that's out of our own control. That's who he chooses to be with. But I feel like us as a community too, like we dismiss Kanye too much, man. I feel like there has to be a way of like trying to like channel him back and bring him back to his my senses. I don't know.
But I think it goes to the point, for me, in seeing the reaction that people have to Kanye now, is going to the point where if you see someone is not trying to achieve the goal, or is not like, they're not moving in the direction you're going, just let them go.
But Kanye is trying to do that though.
I don't know,
but like,
I genuinely don't.
But from everything he does,
he makes comments on at times, but I feel like it's when there's a serious personal, like there's a vested interest for him, and he's felt that impact, then he blurts that out. Then he goes back to his status quo, whatever, like BS we've been hearing for the most part. Like now, I think you mentioned the point before.
Yeah, like the NBA and the music industry is the new slave ship.
You get, and then what was the caveat about that? Universal to let him out of his deal.
Yeah,
that's the personal bout, you know.
So
you get like the connection I'm trying to see there.
So does he really have mental illness though? If he's very aware of what he's doing.
I feel like he does, and I don't feel it's fair to say that he does.
No, I mean it's not about being fair, because like if he's in like because what I described is very intentional, and it's very fucked up to like want to.
You can make intentional moves with mental health issues. It doesn't mean that it doesn't stop you from functioning.
It's how he's making the moves that shows a breakdown in his. But if it's working, hey.
No.
I don't know. If it's working, I can't. If he's achieving his goal, what am I supposed to do?
Right? Yeah.
But for me, I feel like that's why I said, like, for Kanye, like, I feel like they're dismissing him, but a lot of black people are dismissing him. But for me, like, I was never like I never put Kanye on that pedestal because for me I've always seen Kanye as like he just wants to be relevant. He wants to keep being in the conversation.
That's actually no shit, man. It's actually Kardashian.
That's his thing. Like
whoa!
He's actually the black version of Kardashians. Like literally, from the way you put it, literally, because that's what he thrives on, right? Drama, clout, and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And right now, Kanye's identified that, like, in this generation, like, it's all negativity that pays. So, excuse me, he just feeds up to that.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know, for more relevance. And I don't feel like he needs to. That's what pisses me off.
But there's a weird, dichotomy of that character, because I also see somebody that doesn't care what the hell people think at the same time. Bro, half of his music from before, guy had a whole, song about, when I get my money right, I don't care what people are saying. And they're firmly because he makes some moves that it's very clear he doesn't care that he's appealing to any base, and he doesn't. But at the same time, it has the same converse effect of him not caring and being so outlandish, then draws that attention to him back again. Which I don't know how those two work.
I feel like it's still a form of caring. Like, you know, people that have I don't care attitude, I'm gonna do all this. It's still a form of caring because the goal of that is not to get people concerned, or but concerned about, but it's more to get them paying attention to you. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, now they are.
Don't pay attention to me, guys.
But it's like, exactly. Don't pay attention to me, so that you then look at who is saying, don't pay attention to me. Yeah. So I feel like Kanye has always been that. He's always been controversial in order to keep the attention on him and on him.
Exploited him. You said made up when they exploited him.
I feel like people, as in, have exploited him, which is where I feel like, for me,
so
I feel his mental health comes into play. Because I feel like, I think he might be bipolar. I'm not a doctor, but I think he might be bipolar. And his bipolar nature has put him in situations where, in his drive to remain relevant, he's being exploited by other people around that situation. And then the negative reverberating effect is that because he's then getting exploited, he then doubles down and then it keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And maybe if you have someone solid who is like, yo, as in, I know what you're trying to achieve, but as in, I'm trying to help you. This is not for my own game, which is what some people say his mother was in his life. If he had that person, then he'll be able to take a pause and, okay, yes, my goal is still to be relevant, but I can make smarter moves about it. I can
Is
go
he the only
in a different
child?
way. I think so.
From his mom, yeah. I think.
From his mom is the only child.
I cannot back that claim up, but I just know they're very, very close.
Cause man, bro, he needs saving, man.
You made a point. Two very good ones actually. One, this idea of the exchange of controversy for relevance, and that, the dilemma that causes, how that's further than exploited by a larger industry or people or whatever. Those two sentences for me are a soundbite of what a lot of these entertainment industries are for black people in America. So I feel like Kanye is just
He's one of
a humongous example of it. You know, he's the perfect example of that, and the reason why we follow it to such degree is because of how large he is. But top to bottom, this is what's happening. These people, they have an insane drive to be relevant and to be present. That's why you see all this crazy stuff on Instagram, crashing cars, throwing TVs, just being silly, because these things sells. It brings people closer. For someone like Lil Pump now, his whole idea, the whole relevance around him was how wild and careless and reckless he was. That's what draw people, not his music. You know. So that's ridiculously being exploited by the record industry, your friends and all that. I just think Kanye's story is not anything new. We see this.
It's just from a different.
The problem is
different angle.
It's that we've seen Kanye operating on all cylinders, and we've resonated with that for a long time. That in him changing up like this, you can even open your mouth to say we should reach out and help him, because that comes from a place of care. The impact he's had on you for so long. You don't even want him to go down that path. But for all these guys, you don't care, you know. So on that same note,
I didn't see it that way actually.
on that same note, if somebody no matter how impactful they are in your life, if the converse effect now is the negative is now outweighing the positive, why waste your time in that space? This is what Chips was saying earlier. He's just not conducive with where we're trying to go anymore, and we have to make peace with that, no matter how positive of an impact he's had on us in the past. You know.
So wait, but let me ask you this question, right? Why do you think negativity sells more than positivity in this world? In this day and age, anyway, right now. Why?
I mean, I don't know why in its purest sense. However, I do know that we are attached to negativity. Like most of the life experiences or the most of the significant things experiences in our life has been negative. So I mean, to choose the right word, but we yearn for negativity just to feel grounded. Because we know that most of the experiences we've had in life have been negative. We look around for negativity just to make sure I'm still alive. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm still experiencing.
It's like a point of reflection for us. It's a reflection.
So I need to make sure that, okay, I've gone through a lot of negative stuff in my life, right? I need to make sure that you're going through negative stuff in order to make sure that, okay, everything is normal. You get what I'm saying? If I was going through negative stuff and both of you are going through positive stuff, like, what the fuck is going on? This is not real. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like we look, even though there's positive around, we look for the negative in order to remind ourselves that we are still in this, whatever this state of consciousness. That's how I see it. But I don't know why we're wired that way. Maybe it might be.
I mean, what do you think? What do you think more?
I had a question based off of that mindset. Which is you already answered it because you don't know. I'm like, why is that our predisposition?
It might be a defensive mechanism. I mean, fear might be a stronger driver.
The awareness of fear and what you should be afraid of means like you can then prepare your defenses in the best way, like to protect yourself.
Because like sometimes I honestly believe that like generally if something is too positive it becomes boring. Like it's just not nature to make it boring. I don't understand, like we don't have that.
It's not real, like that. No, negativity feels real.
But positivity is a thing.
But you guys, either of those terms,
we don't live in a jungle anymore.
Either of them have to exist for the other to be present. Positivity does not exist in the absence of negativity. They both hold each other accountable in that sense. But at the same time, that still doesn't explain the fact that why we yearn for negativity. Does that mean that our status quo is that it's positive in reality, and that's us trying to find that balance? Because they have to exist in each other.
As
you said, like a fully positive life, like when everything is clicking, you talk like maybe you have all the money in the world, you're this thing, your family, like it begins to feel like you're almost looking for that next negative thing to happen because it doesn't feel real. But then the same thing, if it's negative, you're also yearning for that one positive all the way.
But I mean, like more.
Yeah. So I feel like it's an aggregation of experiences that has kind of overweighted negative experiences in our life or make us more conscious of negative experiences. In the sense that, I mean, you always hear the phrase, it's too good to be true. But you never hear the phrase, it's too bad to be true. No one has ever said, life is so terrible for me, I can't believe this. We just, once life is going terrible, we expect, this is what life is about. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like it might just be an aggregation of experiences over the years, of negative experiences that we just have, as in, because we experience so many negative experiences, we keep expecting more negative experiences. If something has been happening so much, you're gonna expect it, and not necessarily from ourselves. Not necessarily from ourselves, because you have to understand we're raised by other people. So those people, either genetically or nurturing, like through society, like your parents and people around you, they've also passed down the experience of negativity. So now you're born, you've not really experienced more negativity, but you're still filled with the backlog of life is a negative space. So you need to keep being aware of the negative situation in order to remain on the ground of like if you forget like life is negative, you lose your footing, you lose your sense of
and then when that negativity now comes in, it's going to throw everything off balance.
So you need to keep on going and keep being aware of the negativity, and then when you sit,
But I think as well, one of the reasons why like probably negativity, it's because I still feel like negativity outshines positivity in this modern day life, right? In terms of like what we see every day, media, all that kind of bullshit, like you feed into more negativity, gossips, all that bullshit. I feel like the reason why positivity is not to a degree in that limelight is because like we have specific definitions for positive things. Like there's like how would I put it? Like we have, so for example, something positive always has to be something that is perfect. Always has to be something that is like, you know, lack of sin, lack of something, something positive is just perfect to us. And I don't necessarily think that's what positivity is. You can genuinely get positivity from learning from a bad experience. You get, as opposed to like saying, say for example now, you argue with your partner now, right? And yeah, you have all these arguments and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, the positive way is to like interact and, you know, come to an understanding of why you were mad and why I was mad and all that kind of shit. But the thing is, like, how I see, like in modern day society, how I see somebody breaking that is that, like, as opposed to doing that, you go to your friend, you tell them your own point of story and like bias story so that they can feel sorry for you. Shit, you should go and do the same. And then there's like, this one is giving you opinion, that one is giving you opinion, and then it's like, there's never like something simple to resolve. It never like it never comes to like a simple balance to like resolve that conflict. And I feel like because of like the definite definitions we put on positive things is why we don't emphasize on them like it doesn't really shine like that because we define it too much. Like something positive has to be perfect, something positive has to be it has to be spotless. Like if you're a positive person, you've never done something bad in your life. Like, and it shouldn't be like that. I think positivity too, like just the way you said, they feed off each other. It doesn't necessarily have to be positive like the way we define it. You can find positivity, for example, like nowadays we don't have internet right now. It's a negative thing, obviously, but you can easily switch your mindset to shit. I've been with internet for so long. How do I survive in the world without internet? How like change, like just accepting that change quickly and just like appreciating your environment like that. That's a positive thing. But as we don't really define positivity like that. Sorry, go on.
And I feel like we should the same way negativity, as you put it, like has a wider scope of definition because like there's so many negative things you could experience that have not been like put into this box. Like it's the same thing you need to express. Like the same energy you need to keep when you're defining positivity. I was just thinking, personally, the way I see it is that more value can be derived from negativity and more comfort can be derived from positivity. The sense of, like, I say that because when a negative thing occurs, it puts you in reflective mode. It ought to rather. I'm in this position, what can I do to get out of it? And you create almost a new like process of how you go about that situation, which you then apply to that bulk of knowledge, and then next time it comes around you have a new way to treat it, whatever. But in a positive aspect, how often do good things happen? You're on the beach on holiday and this thing, and you stop and you think, what can I do, or how did I get here? Or it's very rare that you stop and you reflect and you derive.
But the thing is that we make them rare though. Like most things are in our control.
You actually should stop and reflect and like, okay, I got here. First of all, I appreciate the fact that I'm here. How did I get here? What can I continue to do to get here? What can I do to elevate? All that for sure. But your back is against the wall in a negative circumstance, and you feel now at this point you have to. So I feel it's that idea of being grounded that you said, but it's that awareness. Negativity makes you so aware. Your back is now against the wall, you're challenged and you have to step up to it, and then naturally some growth will come from that. So if you're like, it's when, you know, good news or bad news, like when they tell you that thing, immediately you're trying to brush past the positive because you want to get to that point. It's like, okay, what can I do to solve it? What can I do to solve it? You know, so personally, maybe that makes sense, but then can we apply that same logic like to a larger scale? Like why scaremongering in the news and all that is what sells, why they're putting it out there? Because all that stuff is quite out of our control. When they're talking about like a war in this part,
like the World War III. Remember that World War III?
Like that's quite out of our control. But I guess, okay, think about the World War III example now. There's a chance it's happening. Kim Jong-un is making noise over here. Like, so now maybe just that awareness. You derive some comfort from the fact, okay, this is actually happening. What can I do about it? Should I create a bunker? Should I do this? Should I do that? And we're quite a proactive species, and I feel like that's maybe where you need to derive that from.
And to be fair though, I think you're kind of right in sense of how like what's it called, negativity like promotes like awareness among us, because you know we are social beings and we always have that issue of trust among us too. Just thinking on a deeper level. In a way, it's so fucked up. I think it's more positive to be negative because you always because like you always have your ground on check. Do you know what I mean? Like you will never be naive if there's negativity. If you are aware of negativity, you never be naive. You always be like. But then again, I feel like it depends on how you process it, right? Because I feel like with negativity, a very good way of channeling that is that like it will never make you naive because like it will always make you keep your guard up, and while at the same time too, if you're an individual that has mastered the balance of negative and positive, once you have your guard up, you still recognize that, oh yeah, cool, I'll still act normal. However, I'm not naive to act in this certain way for someone to take advantage of me. Do you know what I'm saying? I think in a way, like that's where I go from your own point. Like it's actually like there's positivity in negativity. Yeah, that's actually kind of
which feels more real, pain or pleasure. Like when you're experiencing pleasure, doesn't feel. I mean, in my experience, pain feels more like
tangible.
Yeah.
Like you're looking for it going. Do you get?
Yeah, I mean it feels as in if like.
I mean to me,
my experiences are more focused on like they're more heightened on pain rather than pleasure. Like it's not like I'm not getting a sensation for pleasure. But pleasure is as in it seems like I don't know the word to say, but yeah. So I mean that I feel like it's that aspect of the fact that pain feels realer than pleasure. It's probably what gravitates us more to negativity than positivity. However, I think a key. I mean, it's one of those things that. So this is what it is. How do we manipulate it?
No, but in that though, I feel like. Don't you think that that's just in our own head? That pain feels more because that can just be in our own head. Because equally, bro, I get pleasure from making money. I get pleasure from making love to my woman. Like all I can say, it doesn't. It's not as if like. It's not as if it's something that's just there and I want to go. Like it's something I'm looking forward to as well. Just the way, you describe how pain is. So it's like, I feel like in a way it might be something that might have been programmed in my head. In a way,
it might be natural. I think for me, it's the part I want to get to is the motivation factor from both scenarios.
Okay.
So why like. Negative scenarios, like you guys both said, puts you on edge. Like you're more guarded, you're more focused, you're more. So why doesn't positive scenarios also put us on edge? Like make us like why do we? So obviously we know. Okay, let's say negative makes us feel realer and more grounded. Fair enough. We know that's the thing. But in terms of the motivation factor, how do we change the scale? Because you can equally be as motivated from positive scenarios as you are in negative scenarios. But how come we are not for that?
For positivity.
I feel because in the positive aspect it tends to be a choice. You have the choice to look at it that way or not, and your life will be fine in either setting potentially.
There's no panic.
But in a negative one, if you do not act on it, it most likely is going to get worse. Yeah. You don't have there's no choice there. There's no freedom. Your back is against the wall. You have to make a decision at this point. Whereas in the positive, it's like you could, and you could derive value, but the other chances, even if you don't, you probably would be alright without it. You know.
What is the worst scenario a human can be in? What would you say is
the worst?
What is the thing we want that's the most negative scenario? Death, right? That's what most people say. Death. Yeah. What is the opposite of death? Like, what is the most death doesn't there's no
child's birth now.
But you don't. It's not like you don't experience your own birth. But you, as in, we are like we've never experienced that birth. So there's nothing. There's no upper ceiling. If you get what I mean.
Like every single one of these moments.
We are just looking forward to it. Like fuck, when is the death?
How do we manage death, which is the most negative scenario? But there's no most positive scenario where we are motivated to go and achieve. Like there's a most negative scenario that we're motivated to avoid, but there's no most positive scenario that we're motivated to go and achieve.
I think that kind of depends on the individual, because if you ask a person of faith, that their answer would be very different. Because death is something that you should be aware of, but not necessarily you should fear per se. And the opposite of that is because the be all and end all of existence as a person of faith is not this world. Or let me talk about someone that's monotheistic. It's not this world. It's the afterlife. So it's like you live by these prerequisites. You live your life up until this standard, and like every single one of those moments is the opposite of that. So death is something that you can be afraid of course, because you're gonna pass. But there's a greater thing on the other side of that you could achieve, and that could push you to be like that. But to be honest,
no, I think that's a great point, because I agree with that actually. I think that's a great point. In terms of if you stop seeing death as the most negative thing that you know, right? But obviously death is the biggest thing we know, right? So if you stop seeing death as the biggest thing or the most negative we know, and we see something bigger,
that's great.
Then you're no longer motivated by negativity. Like you're no longer afraid of negativity, because you know like the biggest thing you're aiming for is something positive, which is heaven. Which might explain why a lot of religious people tend to be, maybe some of them feel more motivated by positive scenarios. They tend to look for the positive side in things. It might be, I don't know. Some religious people tend to have that mindset. They're a bit more, okay, fair enough. This has happened. How could I get out of that situation? Which a lot of people say is the benefits of being in religion.
But if we tie it back to your question though, because I know we can go off on a tangent when you bring faith into this.
No, it's good. It's good. I love it.
How then does an individual that doesn't have faith find that? You know?
Yeah, that's. I think to me that's what I was trying to say. So
I think you'll find that from ambition. You can find out. So individual that doesn't have necessarily faith, apart from the quote unquote whatever, an individual that doesn't have faith, if you're in touch with yourself, your ambition drives you to want to seek like positive things in a way. Because if you actually think about it, and if you're really true to yourself, you find out like positive things is actually what pushes you up there. The ability not to give up, and not to give up, and not to see negatives in everything that happens is what elevates you and makes you stand apart from your peers. So I think if you're very aware of your own self, without having religious discipline as well, I think like achieving positivity is just as equal as well. It just depends. It just depends on the only thing with that is you're like there's no sole focus in where you're going to. You get different barriers in mind, and if you're not a strong individual, you can always derive from that, and it might make your journey go a bit longer compared to somebody who is very in touch with like his spiritual self. Because for spirituality, you already have a grounding factor, which is God. So everything is all towards the channel of God. But for an individual now, it's just like, okay, today you might be in this vibe of you appreciate art and you want to do great things through art and see positive things through art, and something fucked up happens in art, and now it takes you hard for you to find something else again to channel in order for you to reach that ambition.
Okay, so when you say like a case of death is coming, and we're aware that it's coming, and this is already a negative, but I'm going to try to live as high a quality of life as possible until that point comes, that when it does eventually come, on the balance of things, my life outweighed this terrible thing that is death. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, for example, we're talking about Chadwick Boseman, right? This brother had cancer since 2016 or 14, I'm not sure. 2016, and it didn't stop him from making Black Panther. It didn't stop this nigga from going for like movie promos. It didn't stop him from doing anything. Like he was out there. He was even visiting cancer. Do you know the amount of strength you have? Like he was visiting cancer. Like he's probably looking at these niggas like, yo, I'm one of you, man. Like couple of years time, I'm going to be on this sick bed. Like, do you know like the amount of? But this guy, like he was. I'm sure he was so in touch with his own self. Yeah. Like he knew his own purpose. Like he knew what he wanted to make an impact. So that grounding discipline just made this guy just aim for the absolute moon, and which in my opinion I think he achieved.
You can see someone like him living it, like you can see he's not someone that's motivated by negativity.
No, not at all. A positive thing, positive guy. Because there's already a negative this thing already grounding over his head, and why feed into that? Just do something opposite in order for you to reach your goal quicker. And I'm sure if he was grumpy or he was down because of that, he would have probably died in 2018.
Who knows, bro?
Because first of all, the stress, the thought process, the constant, I can't do this shit, blah, blah, blah. Is
out of the mind, though.
Literally, his mind, that's what I was telling you earlier now, his mind literally saved him for almost 4 years. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think which is key points that we've all touched on, is I think that ability to kind of minimize the negative impact of death. I feel like if you come to terms with that, there are bigger things in life than this glaring negative.
Because it's gonna happen anyway.
That we're all heading to. If you have that mindset that something bigger, then I feel you're able to break out the shackles of being tied down by negativity or looking for the negative. Because then you begin to, because whether you're doing it from a secular mindset or looking for things in life that you can value and as much of them as you can achieve in your lifetime, or you're a religious person where you're looking past death and you're thinking about the better situation you'll be in heaven or and with your God and everything. Once you're basically able to look past death, then you're able to break away from the shackles and then begin to focus more on positivity and then avoid like negative stuff to stop motivating you or driving you to actually do things, because you no longer, death is not the
ultimate, And I think another interesting point again that I was just thinking in my head while you guys were speaking is like, I think another reason why it's easy, why majority of like the population gravitates towards like negativity is like you're not really in touch with your emotions, right? But not even in touch with your emotions in a way like it's very easy for you to get triggered. That's why, like, you know, all these things like make you engage more, like all these negative things makes you engage more. Because in actual fact, if you're really in touch with your emotions and you're very aware of everything around you, it's very hard for you. Like, honestly, negative shit is boring. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, to a certain degree, like, I have kind of experienced that. Like, it's actually kind of boring. For example, like gossiping about somebody. Like, for me, it's just like, when we're talking about, like, when the whole focus is on somebody else and we're talking negative, like, to me, it's just like, I don't, like, first of all, I feel like I'm losing knowledge from that, and I don't enjoy being in that kind of listening because I'm so in touch with my emotions that, like, that's that nigga's life. Whatever he chooses to do, that's, I understand him for being a human being. I might not necessarily resonate with what he's doing, but I don't think he affects me enough for me to want to talk about him. Do you get what I'm saying? But I feel like a lot of people don't have that self-control. That's why, you know, like, when something happens, it's like you just engage. Like, maybe it might be as a result of so many things happening that you just engage on something negative, you feel down, and then something comes again. Like, it's just a constant battle of lack of controlling emotions. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing you can have on that.
That's a solid point. That self-awareness can do it with all negative. Because, as you said, in those moments, if you stop and you take time to question, why am I in this place? Why am I engaging in this discourse? Is there any progress here? Am I truly happy with that? When you are aware enough and you can ask yourself those questions, the answer that tends to be no, and that you're not really enjoying
it's boring.
You know?
It's boring as fuck, man. Like,
I agree. I think it's actually, now once you get to that point, you realize, in your sense, it's boring. Because, I mean, for me, even I remember, you know, the Shade Room. I unfollowed them.
Oh, same.
Because I was like, I can't keep. No, I respect them. Like I was following them because sometimes they did have cultural news. They had news I wanted to know about. Like, and know about these things going around culturally. But most of the time it's just, this person actually this person. I'm like, I'm tired of seeing this shit, man. It's actually boring right now. Like I want to just see the positive shit. So I agree with you. If you have that self-awareness. I don't really like when, because obviously me and emotions have a different way of looking at things. But I don't necessarily like the approach of being in touch with your emotions, because I don't really know when people say
it's positive, nigga.
I never said it's not positive. I said me. I don't have that approach. But I do agree with the self-awareness, knowing yourself. Know what works for you and what doesn't.
But knowing yourself is knowing yourself, like, it's emotionally knowing yourself.
Because you're an emotional being.
Yeah, like,
I don't believe I'm an emotional.
Yeah, you are an emotional. Let me tell you the harshest truth, yeah? You are made through passion and emotion.
No.
Your dad was funny. Your dad was funny and he fucked your mom and he gave it to you. Straight up. Guy, you're made of emotion.
Conception. I was meant to be intentional.
Sorry, it's a good girl. Let me bust your bubble. It was not like that, sir. No, it was not like that, sir. Your dad put in that pressure, bro, from place of passion and love. And that's emotion right there. So you're definitely an emotional being.
The mere fact that you can sit here and you are laughing with us at these experiences goes to show that you are. And you cannot be fully self-aware unless you tap into that aspect of the emotional aspect of you. Because if you don't do that, then best believe the ignorance that comes from that space can be taken advantage of, or like that lack of understanding for oneself. What holds you back?
It's one of these niggas. He's just like one of them ones. I love you, baby. It's like cheers, cheers. Cheers, mate. Cheers. That's Nigerian pump.
I love you. Thank you.
I love me.
My dad doesn't even say anything. Just like okay, it's all right. That's what he says. It's all right. But yeah, I
do agree with what you said.
No, I did like genuinely being, and I know I've been like a case about emotion because nigga, I know that shit will help you out. It will unlock. It will unlock something.
And nobody says sit around and cry.
No.
I don't be aware of how like
no, that's the way you
are.
I agree with self-awareness, right? I know I understand
not emotion.
Just the word.
I agree with self-awareness, but my thing, which this is my own like pathway or my perspective, is I feel that for some people the act of being in touch with their emotions causes them to be driven by their emotions. Like, I want you to be aware of your emotions, but don't be driven by your emotions. You get what I'm saying?
I don't feel you're fully in touch with your emotions if that's like what's your driving force. Yeah.
But for some people, they feel like that is, which is why, to me, like I said, I'm more comfortable with being self-aware, like understanding your whole perspective, understanding your good and bad. But from the perspective when people are like, oh, you need to get more in touch with your emotions. For me, I feel like that is that's a dangerous message we send to some other people, because some people might not fully understand what that means. Like, some of them think, oh, it means for me to be driven, it means for me to react for my emotional drivers in every scenario. But no, it means you need to understand why the emotion is there, understand why you're feeling it that way, and understand from a collective perspective how to respond to that situation.
Do you feel like you do that and you're aware of that?
I feel like I do that. I feel like I do that. But I mean, genuinely, I feel like I do that. But I think the reason, again, I just feel that way is I've seen a lot of people around me when I know because I'm having the same emotion, but I'm not reacting because in a particular way, because the emotion is not driving me. It's there, I'm feeling it, I'm aware of it, but it's not driving me to respond in that way. But I've seen a lot of people be driven, and then they say, oh, they're just emotional. And I'm like, no, that's why I like, if that's what you think being in touch with emotion, stop being in touch with emotion, because it is a lack of self-control. Like, so you can't feel like an emotional way without necessarily reacting emotionally to that scenario, that situation. So, but I mean, yeah.
No, but conversely, you also, in that process of taking stock, there are also circumstances where it is adequate, or rather required, for you to react emotionally because it's what is needed at the time. And that's the flip side of it. It's not every single thing that you can be like, as it's happening, you're going through it and you're just aware of it. Sometimes you have to stop and act on that, and there's every reason to be. But it's got to be an educated decision, not that it was out of control.
And actually, to even add on that, like, I genuinely feel like something that's really helped to my self-awareness was literally unlocking my emotional side, man. Like,
but what does that mean for you? What does unlocking emotional?
So unlocking my emotional side is being able to like channel my emotions without feeling any sense of judgment. Do you get what I'm saying? Like not giving a fuck about what somebody else thinks or how somebody else will perceive me. The moment I was confident with that, bro, like, I genuinely feel like it's so hard for someone to violate me, like, to an extent where like it will piss me off. Like, it's so hard.
So for you, being in touch with your emotion means being comfortable with the emotions you experience.
Being extremely comfortable and having that ability to always want to understand what I'm feeling like.
Yeah.
Like, and when I do that, it's just like I just have so much control and power. So like, I don't think I can tell you anything about me, and I don't think you can use that against me and make me feel bad. Like I'm just like, if you say that like in a condescending way, I'm just like, okay, like and so what? Like I know I was comfortable telling you, so I don't like you saying it again doesn't really make any sense. So like in a way, man, guy, get in touch with my emotions.
From that perspective, I do agree. Maybe that's something I'm still working on as well. I'm not comfortable with all my emotions. I'm comfortable with a lot of them, but not all of them. Like there's some, for me, like getting to that point where okay, you have this emotion, like just that's what you do, just deal with it. But I'm probably still at the point where I don't feel I should have that emotion. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
no, but that's fair. And the thing is, at the end of the day, everything is a process. You don't ever rush something. You don't ever rush something they're not ready for.
Yeah.
Because if you end up doing something you're not ready for, you might go and end up learning it the wrong way. And you might, as opposed to being this loving and caring person, you can turn into future Hendrix. You know what I mean? Turning girls into the streets.
Hey.
You know, treat them like dirt and they'll stick like mud. You know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. But then he actually leads us to the next segue.
That's what I'm like, yo, as in perfect.
Wow.
Let's get.
That was good.
Nice. So, are you cool, man? Speaking of the Godfather in Chief, Mr. Future Hendrix.
Let's go.
So,
President of the young kids.
I was watching this podcast. I think it's the 85 South Show.
Yeah.
Shout out to guys from that podcast, DC Young Fly.
My man, like Lil Duval, my favorite human being on earth, man. One of my favorites. Love him, man.
Lil Duval was on this special episode, and they were having a conversation. And Carlos, to me, dropped what I thought was a gem. And the statement was, if a girl, like if your girl, is mad at you, like she's pissed off for you. However, she's still willing to give you the box. Like she's still willing to lash. She's still willing to as in she's still willing to let you get freaky dicky in it. Like that is the epitome of true love. And for me, like I was like, yo, that is 1,000% facts. Because like for a girl in that scenario to be like, I'm pissed off. Like you've hurt me. I'm pissed off. But I love you so much. I'm still gonna be there for you for what you need. Because sometimes sex is a need for men. Like
it's not no. See that's I'm not gonna lie. It's no. I mean yes. No. Yes, no. But the thing is, I kind of agree with that, in the sense of it being true love, because my nigga, no matter how much you respect and love this girl, you're still thinking of that motherfucking thing. And every girl is aware of it.
Yeah, that's what
and the fact that like she's willing to like,
I'm not gonna torture you.
I'm not gonna torture. I'm not gonna torture you. I mean, that can count as love. I can see how it does.
I think that's true love, man. Because I feel like that's scenario if she'll have your back.
It speaks on the larger issue, and you touched on it a second ago. Like, at the end of the day, it's a partnership, right? And you're both in here together. And the aim is not to find ways out of it. It's when you have problems, you deal with them inside. And there's a fundamental level of care that you have for each other that, irrespective of what's going on, you know, you will give that for one another. And that's in whatever space. Say, and you touched on it when we were speaking on it earlier, you have a fight and it's time for dinner. It's petty for her not to cook or for you not to cook. Or like you have an issue still and you're out on town and you know she loves this specific flower that only comes around once a month, and you see it and you buy her a bouquet and all that. Like that basis is still there. Like our relationship hasn't gone anywhere. I still care about it. We happen to have this isolated issue. So everything else shouldn't necessarily suffer as a result. And definitely I feel like on that principle it is a sign of true love, because it's a package, and this happens to be, if that's the nature of how you work a relationship, you know? Exactly.
And touching on that, to me, I feel like that should be the goal. That's what a lot of modern relationships like now, which is why a lot of people break up easily, is because people don't get to that sense of true love. And when I say true love, I mean like, as in you see this person as part of you, the same way you see your like I don't know how other people live with their families, but if you have your siblings, growing up with a lot of siblings, we argue and fought all the time. but they are still my. Do you get what I'm saying? Like because I'm pissed off yesterday doesn't mean like now I'm an only child. Nah, I still have my siblings, I still have my parents. Like that's still my family. I'm not just gonna leave this family because of a dispute or an argument. So I feel like a lot of times when couples have those disputes and arguments and it results to a breakup, to me, like, you have not reached that point where, like, okay, I'm pissed off, but as in let's resolve through this.
As in cancel culture, man.
Yeah, it's still like, okay, this slight thing. I mean, I'm not saying like if you're in a position with someone where you feel it's not worth it, I don't really want to reconcile with this person, then fair enough. But I feel like a lot of relationships they're not aspiring to get to that level, they're not trying to get to that level, because if you do get to that level, you realize that you're going to be in arguments for a lot of time, and then you end up being there for 60 years because you genuinely care about that person.
Do you know what's so fucked up? I genuinely believe, it's so, like, it's a weird segue, but I genuinely believe the reason why, especially our generation, will have this attitude, especially towards dating, is as a result of technology and social media, to be particular. You know, social media. Exactly. Social media, not even apart from the messages in terms of relationships or the narratives in terms of relationships, but it's just not even perfectionism. It's like it's the way the whole thing is designed. Fast information, quick finish, and I feel like that's how our generation is going. You just see something, you consume it, and like, for example, Jay-Z brings out an album today, we listen to it, it's the greatest album of all time, blah 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 blah. 2 weeks later, nobody's talking about it.
Somebody else has dropped.
Exactly. Whereas before, like, you know, we had time to process. If somebody does something for you, remember P Square's album? I don't know if you guys remember this in high school. Like, for 3-4 months straight, like, bro, we are banging this shit straight from number 1 to the last one. We are banging for 4-5 months. It will never happen now. It will happen, guy, like 2 days, a week max. Even Burna Boy. Imagine Burna Boy came out at that time. Bro, you chat more than how he's chatting, like, right now. But the thing is, like, I don't know, man, like, with social media, like, coming into place and all that kind of stuff, I think it's changed our own idea of like how we tolerate things, and I think it's something.
It's a solid point.
Yeah, and I think it's something that we need to always try and step back. It's not like processing information that fast doesn't necessarily make you smart.
I don't think it's healthy.
And it doesn't even and it's definitely not healthy as well, because it then resonates into like different aspects of your life. You know, you can't make decisions because, okay, now you're thinking of this, you've seen that, like, you don't have that ability to just like focus on that one thing and perfect that one thing. Likewise, relationship, focus on that one thing and perfect that thing. Or might be your studies, focus on that one thing and do your own thing.
I feel like our lives are, like, that's such a solid point. Our lives are so oversaturated in every regard. Like if you happen to engage at that level, let's say like in the first world per se, because we don't have access to all this, but like everything, there's so much of it at any given point in time that as one goes, you know that there's another coming. That there's no basis of longevity.
Longevity is definitely
like generation. I definitely see that, and it all ties into all that, as you said. So you pick up your phone and you're consuming all this information. It comes and goes. An app like Tinder exists where you're just swiping and swiping, and it's just human beings, bro.
You're literally talking to a girl, right? You're getting.
And you're still swiping on that.
And then you. Tinder that, you've got a new match. And obviously, what you're gonna do next is
where you exactly?
I need to explore this new match. You're telling me you have a new match. You get what I'm saying?
And you just consume, and like imagine now. For people that use the platform, me, I've heard, don't be said it, you know. You know,
for research purposes.
Solely for research purposes. Like when you swipe and you meet someone, you're like, you know, you can't go back. You can't go back and like undo that. But in your head, you're like, somebody else will come up, and that's so problematic, you know. But if you then manage to like walk through that minefield and make it to the other side, so you have found somebody and then you're now in that space with that person. That thing I touched on earlier, I feel comes out, which is that perfectionism, that you're presented with nothing but perfect couples. You're opening these apps, people are doing all these together, doing all this stuff, and that's almost like this perfect mindset is now what is the acceptable status quo. But nobody can achieve that, even those people that are showing you this, you know. So you have these unrealistic expectations, and what do you expect? If you hold yourself to those standards, you always fall short, and that so like it's one battle after the other, and like we all sound like old heads here saying like the good old days when we didn't have to do all this stuff.
Nigga, I can't
to be honest, I feel like
I love the old days.
In this
I
space, I
actually
feel
love
like
the old
it has
days.
value.
Nah,
No, bro,
I love
no, in this.
Instagram. I don't want to give up Instagram.
Nah. But bro, I don't know. Did you
Those traps. Come on.
But did you guys not experience that? Did you guys not experience that thing where like that scenario where you have to like go block a girl, ask her for a number, and they have that you have a 3-hour conversation. Guy, you never met this guy in your life.
Free call.
Guy, free extra cool. Extra cool. Bro, extra cool. Like, see, and I think like, imagine that time where like social media wasn't as prominent.
Yeah,
it wasn't as prominent.
Yeah.
Like you appreciated that. The fact that this girl is she's willing to talk to me, and you always have to think of like we got creative with like even our conversation. Like you always have to make sure the conversation is going because you just want to keep the girl engaged and just keep busting her brain so that eventually she'll agree to go on that date with you. And right now, like I feel like the opposite effect of social media on that right now in terms of appreciation is that like it just makes you believe like even before there was this old saying that many fishes in the river we used to always say, but now Instagram has literally showed you how blessed but this one is not even an ocean. Like, it shows you where the fishes are. This is where dolphins are. This is where sardines are. This is where sharks. Like it shows exactly what you want.
And every single species you have seen it. Like imagine, bro. Nothing is not enticing about. I say my grandfather now, for instance. I have seen, without seeing personally, I have seen more women than he could have ever fathomed. Like interacting in his whole life. I've seen probably in the last week, probably on my Explorer, I've seen more than he could ever see in his whole life. And that blows my mind. Like, how healthy is that for me? The fact that nothing is going to be impressive in that. And it's done this. The fact that you've seen every sort of individual that exists. That now people are going out of their way to create individuals that don't exist through all these forms of body modification and all that. You're going under the knife to have this surgery because you want to stand out. And then you
have standards as well. You have standards.
Bro,
one big ass, one dad.
And you know that's facts in a sense because like our grandparents, like probably the reason why their marriages worked is, I mean, they had to just pick from a small pool of village, so they could make a quick judgment that, okay, this is the best woman for me from this pool. But for us, where we have to pick from a global pool, it's not just from a small.
There's niggas in America that are dating in Thailand.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna keep feeling like, shit, I'll pick this girl, but guys, there might be another girl, someone like way better.
Billion people out there, like
so it's hard for you to just cash in and take your pick. I mean, you have to.
But then again,
it's actually not healthy to keep living like this.
As much as we're criticizing it though, like how can we actively preserve ourselves from falling into, because it's inevitable that all of us will fall. Like your work requires you to have social media. So even whether you like it or you don't like it, like you need to have some form of like social interaction. So like how in this digital age, like how do you, I don't know, like how do you move past, or not even move past, like how do you understand that this is what it is, this is the effect on me, and how do you navigate through it while being your own self?
That first aspect, if you guys don't mind if I
that
first aspect you spoke about, that's very much an individual journey. I don't know there's no masterclass or anybody that's shouting at the top of their lungs like the damage that this caused, and I swear it's only when the research comes out in the next couple of decades the negative effect that this is having on us. It's only starting now, to be honest. You're seeing all this stuff about depression, but once you realize that and you're in this space, you're like, okay, I see it for what it is at this point. How can you then derive value for that from you? Now you know the person that you are, the type of areas that resonate with you. And for me personally, what I've tried to do, I don't know if you guys have done the same, is filter what comes through, So if I open my Explore page, I'm saying I don't want to see this, let me see more of this, let me see more of that, take this off of me. So every time you open, it's more things that resonate with you, whether like it's your business minded, you're gonna see entrepreneurs. Whether it's to do with your faith, you're gonna go see pages that have to deal with like engaging with your faith. And it's the only way, because if you leave yourself to be in this minefield of things, because every given thing in this world that exists can be in front of you, but it's just up to you to tailor make like the approach that you want for yourself that's conducive. Because if you don't,
I keep giving you big up for that thing, man. Because like what you said about like filtering your Instagram is like. One is something that's
filtering your social media pages to just be what's conducive with your mind already, so that you don't get poisoned with everything that's out there. Like for instance, now, let's take Instagram as a perfect example. You open your page and you see, I don't know, football content you want to see, news content you want to see, business content you want to see, and then all of a sudden you see, I don't know. like ass, and you don't want to see ass.
How do you filter? Like,
bro, you just go, bro. Well, first of all the pages that you follow, you unfollow the ones that are not conducive with your growth process first. Then the ones that come up on the random feed, because it's an algorithm after all. You just go, look, I'm not interested. Every time you see something like that, it's an active approach. I'm not interested.
So what, you click on the photo and then click not.
Yeah, you click on the photo. And
where's that feature?
It's literally like.
It's like in
yeah.
Instagram put that.
That shit. Exactly. You know, and for me, what pisses me off, like the content that always used to come up on my page, I'm like, the algorithm is calculated this way for it to come back. It's like the American rap culture, like the wildness that comes from that. No, not necessarily ass and titties. Like the wildness. People just doing dumb stuff on the gram, you know, for clout. Oh, 6ix9ine said this, but when I see that, I'm like, okay, bro, maybe I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'll go and I clear that, and it's all that. You get rid of it, and the next time you refresh, the more you refresh, it just becomes so tailor-made.
And do you know what?
And that's what it ought to be, like a Pinterest now.
Algorithm,
like a Pinterest now, for instance. It's a platform that I've never used it, but I've seen people that use it. You literally put together what you want to see, and that's what you need to do on all these platforms, you know, for your own good.
And to be honest, like it's very beneficial, because for me, there was a realization I came to place that I just realized that just made me realize, like, damn, I consume a lot of like fast food on this internet, man, a lot, and it's not healthy for me.
So fast food.
So it's like I just realized, like, okay, I was following this page, Wallstar. Like obviously but everybody follows Wallstar, right? I mean, now I don't anymore. But the thing is, like, after the conversation we had, and you know, that advice of filtering your Instagram page, I was just like, I started it as just like a joke. I'm like, you know what, fucking let me actually like go to this thing, and I was just like, I was about to unfollow Wallstar. Actually, I unfollowed Wallstar because so there was this they had a story of, like, I don't know, it's like this random ass guy like stealing from the shop, and it was funny, and they had like laughing emojis, and I'm just like. I'm just picturing myself. I'm like, I don't find this funny. I think this is so like, what the fuck is this? Like, why am I even like process? Because at the end of the day, best believe, remember power of your mind, right? Everything you see is what you act in a subconscious state. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, why am I even looking at all this kind of bullshit? All I want to see right now is positive shit and like stuff that will make me grow. So why am I not feeling into that?
Yeah.
Because like because the actual fact is, like, that video I saw before, these are the kind of videos that will make me procrastinate. I'm doing something and uninterestedly, I'll just go on my page and I'll see them. I'm like, oh, why is this guy doing this thing? And then the next video comes up, and then I'm checking, and then after like maybe 20 minutes of wasting I'm just like, what the fuck was that? Like, I didn't even need to watch that video, and I'm mad at myself for that. But then I don't take that proactive step of following that. I just kind of blame it on, oh, it's my procrastination. Like, it is what it is. I'll try and do better. But the more you make active steps into all this kind of, it helps your mental, man. Because at the end of the day, it's all food.
It is.
It's all food.
And you are going to consume. You're a consumer. So why don't you just choose what it is that you're going to consume?
Facts.
I mean, that's some big facts in terms of so for one, following the pages that, like, you should, like, don't follow people. Like, if a page you're following is giving you negative effects, unfollow that shit. Like, don't, like, there's no point like continuing to indulge in it if you know for sure it's not bringing you the best.
Well, sometimes it's popularity as well. Like a page like Wallstar, everybody has Wallstar. You don't want to be left.
But yeah, no, I agree. No, but that can be up to you, though.
No, that's what I'm saying. But again, that's something again that like drives people to just want to just
because you want to be in the loop.
I understand, but the same is the same for, like, this was my experience with the shade room, because I felt I needed to follow the shade room because everybody was following the shade room. Everyone was talking about what's happening in the shade room. But I realized, this is too much negativity for me, and it's not what the information I'm gonna get from shade room. Like, even if I know I want to keep in the cultural loop with people, my own feeling is not worth it. So if you get to the point where you're like, okay, this negative feeling I'm having is not what me being socially acceptable, like having conversation with other people, then unfollow them, because you probably, if it was what I found out, especially from social media, if something is really news, you'll find out anyway.
No matter what.
Like, someone is gonna tell you now with social media. So yeah, so from the standpoint of following pages, definitely unfollow pages are not you're not fucking with. However, in the explore bit where you have like not interested, where you're able to tell what you see on your explore page, that's kind of interesting to me, which is why I say I want to see how the algorithm works, because I feel like that section is driven by not just your interests, but your friends, as in your followers and your following, like the community's interest. You get what I'm saying? So
I found
you get what I'm saying? Like how does it it's kind of counterintuitive to the point of like they're showing you what other people, as in similar people that
because they expect your interest.
You've told them that you fuck with this person. They're like, yo, if you fuck with this person,
fuck what they do.
So it's kind of like, how do you then balance that? Like, how do you stay in the loop with people you've already said you fuck with, as in what they're consuming? But then they're telling Instagram to not show you that, as in like, what is it going to show you if you go like? That's kind of.
Then it's up to you if you really, why are you following those people in the first place, you know, that are feeding those type of things to you. Because that means that's what they outside of this space, that's what feeds their mind. And you want to be in those circles where that's all they're being fed? Not necessarily. And also, that's why the people are so one-sided like that, no, somebody cannot consider and still be a brilliant individual per se. So it's either the constant battle of, you're not conducive with me in this space or outside, so goodbye. Tough to do, of course.
Very tough, man.
But like outside of that, then it's just for you to now, after you've done that to the best of your ability, you have to find the algorithm.
Because if you have your boy who, like, it's your boy, as in it's your boy, but your boy likes bad titties and ass pictures, and now you got bad titties and ass
pictures.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh shit, I've got a girl. But it's not me, it's my friend.
I like to appreciate beauty.
Aaron does work, innit?
Yo.
But now, fair enough for that feature, I'm gonna like uninterest in those TikTok videos, man.
Oh my god, man.
But okay, another interesting point, right? Okay, it's good to do all these kind of things, tailor it for your own experience and whatnot. But for somebody who's into business, that you have to like challenge into all like different kinds of like different types of like markets and different channels or different things in order for you to like meet different people. How like I feel like it's very hard for you to like personalize your own experience, because that information is going to come to you regardless, unless you don't want to be a successful businessman. Because I mean, social media now is gone past just your own personal experience to people actually make money off it. Yeah, you know, like it's a platform where people can, you know, you can build your own brand and all that kind of stuff. So in that kind of sense, like, is it advisable for you to have like a personal and then business one?
Yeah, of course. You could
but
say
then the
that.
thing is,
and also I would say, you could say that I have a personal business, but also you need to, it depends on the lens you're viewing it as. If you're viewing it from the mindset that I'm doing this for business, like this is not me in my leisure time scrolling the gram, like I'm engaged in this thing, like from the mindset of I'm trying to.
You're not a consumer in that place.
Yeah, I'm not a consumer. I'm mining. I'm trying to get something out of this situation. Then you're not kind of like indulging in.
You take it for what it is. In effect, you are part of the people that are in that manipulative circle, you know, because you're trying to figure out what's hot, what's trendy, and how you can, you know, apply onto that. So as long as the mindset remains different, you're not consuming. Just don't consume. Because people do that. Like this page, the Quan. I don't know if you've seen Black American page.
I follow Bell this page.
I trust. But the Quan was recently sold for $85 million.
For real?
The page. And guess what?
85 mil.
No, some niggas, as in they make peas.
Bro, because they advertise it, bro. 85 million. That page has how many millions of followers? But this is the interesting part. The Quan, which is a prominent page, which is known for, you know, black content and all this hilarious stuff that's really from the community, was run by 2 Iranians.
What it was or it is?
Whoa!
It was before.
No,
Whoa!
it was founded by this kid from he's Canadian, Ethiopian, of course black, and he could relate to all this stuff. But obviously, the page started to pop, and these Iranians, they own this large like media company which purchased him out of it from a very early time, but they kept everything the same, kept the bio very tactical, the Ethiopian flag and this thing, left it as this, continued to post that same content out, and grew the page to this humongous point, and now they made the sale, and then it just came out that they're these 2 Iranian guys.
Okay, so Daquan started it, those Iranian guys bought it, and then now they've sold it off.
And then now it's gone.
Because I've noticed that, like, sometimes I'll see some random ass page I've never followed before, like, all of a sudden I'm like, so it means someone I was following before sold their page to someone else, and then
sometimes. But on like in this type of model, like you just kept the same principle and you ran with it. But the issue here is like it's exactly what you're making. Somebody knows and sees like a marketing opportunity, a chance to make money, and that's all they see it for, you know. And so there's we now feel like we're manipulated. How man?
They never stop.
Bro, like imagine, remember when all our Black Lives Matter things like that right here and they're exposing,
but like
exposing people.
They're not, the thing is, obviously, they're a large company.
The owner of Canteen around it, they have.
Bro, did you see those things?
Bro, that's what I'm saying now.
A ridiculous amount of stuff that is so ingrained.
The hair product. So it's a weapon. It's a weapon.
But ridiculous amount of these things.
Malts that we're drinking now from Africa.
They're claiming all
it's not,
man. We don't have a single stake in that.
Okay, man. So what are actually producing, man?
Palm wine.
We're just consuming. We're just fucking consuming every single thing, not producing. That's fucked up, man.
I think even in that space, like to be honest, like in terms of the African thing, it's just more branding that's missing, really.
Branding for
because like we have everything we want. It's just like we don't brand it to appeal to us. Because
sorry, finish.
No. I mean, go on.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I feel like people like apart from the negative content that comes from the shade room, I actually fuck with them because I feel like they've branded that thing. Like they have a whole team. They even have a section called Shade Room Teens. Like they make merch. Do you get what I'm saying? Like one fair player, you know, the guy that did Wallstar is dead. Yeah, created.
Oh yeah. The old
he did that same similar. So I think those guys, I'll give credit to them, fair play to them. They worked out on the brand, which more black people should do in order to keep hold of our thing. Because sound like Daquan, like I thought it was just a niggas page that just became famous. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, oh, he was just posting memes and now he's famous. So I'm like, I'm just Bay as well, is doing really well with his branding.
Huge, fantastic job.
Yeah, but it sounded like Daquan had branded. He won't like, even if he got bought out from by those Indian guys, they would have had to pay big money because it's a brand. But like I feel like you said, we need to get more clued up on branding and ownership and stuff.
But I think, to be honest,
customer care and every aspect of business, if you ask me, bro, I think
but you know the thing is that I always have soft spot when it comes to customer care, right? Because I mean, I'm only trying to venture into business, so I have a slight understanding of why that might be a problem. And when it comes to customer care, it's like you have to realize that a lot of black businesses, like the funds they take to start businesses is literally to start a business. Like they don't have extra money for training or extra, like they literally just have it to just start providing service to people. And I think
then should you be doing that then?
Well,
sorry, I make your point.
No, I mean you shouldn't necessarily be doing that, but at the same time too, like I feel like as a community too, we should have that understanding, and we should maybe call them out. We should call black businesses out for that more in terms of training, as opposed to just dismissing and just saying that's accustomed to us anyway. Like it is what it is. Like we should put that narrative of okay, we understand this is what it is. We should have compassion by encouraging them to train their staff. Do you get what I'm saying? As opposed to this is what I mean. I expect to go to a Jamaican restaurant and tell me, plantain is not available. Having that mindset, as opposed to I feel like it should come from a place of more encouragement. I think because honestly, starting a business here is incredibly very, very hard, man. And most white businesses, starting a business for them, is either they have backings from the bank or generational wealth, which a lot of us are not really blessed with over here anyway.
Either, yeah.
So it's there's challenges, man. You're all trying to come up. So I think we should appreciate the fact that we're trying more, but at the same time not get complacent. We should still demand more. We should still demand more, but not from the place of, oh, like your service is shit. We should just like, yo, okay, kudos for trying, but you guys can make this better for us to enjoy, for us to be better as well. You guys, for us to be better customers for you guys as well. So yeah, I mean. That's my own take on.
Were you gonna say something?
No, that's the exact point. That the criticism, because I feel like that's beginning to show, but I feel like the criticism isn't constructive. It's more dismissive. This is why we do not, purchase from black-owned businesses because of all these negative things. As opposed to the case of if you guys do this and this and this better, then it would make for a better customer.
And by the way, we are willing to spend if you guys do this.
But I would also add the constructive criticism. I agree. We should be constructively criticizing black businesses. However, black businesses should not take advantage of the fact that they're a black business.
Fully.
Like, because you're a black business and I'm black doesn't mean you should talk to me like I'm shit. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's still a basic minimum for doing business. I'm paying you for it. I'm not begging you for this. I'm not asking. I'm giving you my money for this. So that I'm not saying your customer staff should be the most perfect. Like, oh, hello, how are you? Blah, 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 blah. Well, at least say hello. You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to. As in, what you want. Be professional, exactly. So I feel like black businesses, although yes, we should be constructively criticizing them, but they should put in effort in order to serve their customers.
Don't just lean solely on the aspect of you're a black-owned business and people come and purchase from you, and you feel you can do whatever you want. Because people do that. I mean, you just see Melody on a t-shirt, $100. What's that about? Why am I going to purchase that?
Why am I going to pay $40 just
why would I do that? No.
It has to be
you have to compete. You have to compete. I want to support you, but like let me purchase on the fact that I genuinely feel maybe when you put your best foot forward, you're not at that level, but you deserve to be. So I will make that purchase.
Facts.
Not like a Virgil 2.135. Oh, 10 billion off-white cap.
Respect to Virgil though on that one, no cap. He did it. He made a brand off of that. I mean, that appealed across the board.
I understand. I get it.
Virgil's problematic.
I don't know what it means to be black, but I mean, look, he's not the darkest shade you're gonna mind black people.
Like Dr. Owen would say, are you cool again? No, but the thing with someone like Virgil though, regardless of everything he's doing, that I still have a little bit of respect for him because what Virgil did is not anything different from what Louis Vuitton is doing. Really, if you actually think, or Balenciaga is like what Virgil is doing is not anything different from what Balenciaga is doing.
You have to give him credit.
No. I'm giving him credit. Like I'm saying, like we're overly harsh for him making like minimalistic designs because he's Virgin and he's a black guy. We're expecting more. And me, I'm guilty of that. But at the same time, if you actually look at his work, like he's doing exact same things that we are buying from like Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and all that kind of stuff.
But he's a major reason as to why we're even making those purchases. Because he was a key contributor to the rise of streetwear and minimalism in fashion like that after the last 5 years or so. And before that, he's such a key contributor that we need to give a black man his credit for shaking up a world that is so exclusive, and there's no access to us. Fully streetwear. What the hell is Louis Vuitton doing with his streetwear line?
No,
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Streetwear wasn't a thing. It was so inaccessible, and they saw it as like so beneath them to engage in that field. Then you have brands that are rising like that, and an off-white like him, and tapping into the culture, to be able to promote all that. That put it at the forefront. Okay, there's sales in this, so let's bring it in. It's a business decision after all. So for me, full credit to him on that. Everything else. In for my hand.
Yeah, no, I mean,
$50. Let's give it 2 Virgils round. Let's give it 2 Virgils. Let's give it 2 Virgils. Let's just give it 2 Virgils,
yeah. No, as in I respect him for obviously what he's achieved in the fashion industry.
Yeah.
But my own thing is just
he's becoming lazy.
That's my thing. Like, my thing is just the art form, like as in how. I'm a fan of excellence. So like, as in, if you're at the top, I want you to keep showing me why you want to be at the top. Don't just take for granted that you're at the top and I should applaud you every time just because you're good. Nah, like you need to game out, keep showing me, yo, this is why I'm doing it. So I feel like for him, he's becoming lazy. I'm not seeing that creativity come out anymore. But hey, I mean,
he's still making his pee. And
that's what I'm saying.
make that bread,
he's
kid.
still doing what
Go
LB
make that bread,
they're
kid.
making money. That's
Let's
good. And
go.
LB are still making money, giving niggas some. To me, ugly as clothes, and they're still making bank. Then I can't judge him for.
Did you see that car? That car he
clothes.
designed?
No, I didn't see
The G-Wagon, right?
Bro, I'm not even buying that on GTA. Like, even on GTA, I won't spend my money on buying that shit.
Yeah,
Talk more of like, again, creativity, Basquiat, innit? No, but fuck that. Basquiat was amazing. Like, let's not get that twisted. Like, Basquiat.
Oh yeah, the Basquiat was.
No, but it's like,
there's no criticism here on that.
no, but I'm saying like, like,
but you could
there's
see, Basquiat, you could see intent with what he was saying. Same like people like Picasso. Like what they're doing might not be
the orthodox.
Yeah, it might seem a bit
simplistic.
But as in there's
There was
still intent and methodology behind what they do. But for me, I don't see the intent behind what Virgil is doing
anymore.
That Pop Smoke's album, man. I cried laughing. That was the funny. Like, it's just like one of them ones where you hand your coursework like 2 minutes before it's like you hand your coursework like literally 2 minutes before deadline, man. It's the funniest shit ever. Yeah. But yeah, man. So, anyways, good session. I think we'll wrap it up, man.
Perfect place to end, man. Shout out
Virgil. Let's just keep it to Virgil. Shout out to Virgil.
Sponsor.
Nah, man.
Alright, cool, no?
But yeah. Peace out, man.